welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the most magical Midwest. What?
Whoa.
Sorry, cut. Welcome, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, to the most magical podcast in the Midwest. Yes, that's right. It's the Magic in the Midwest podcast, starring USA Today bestselling author J.B. Michaels and his more successful wife, Ashley Michaels. Take it away, J.B. Wow, well, thank you, announcer. It looks like you were hitting the sauce pretty hard last night. Anyway, so welcome to the Magic in the Midwest podcast number 42. That's right, 42 podcasts in, and we are just getting started, folks. Just getting started. I am J.B. Michaels, USA Today best-selling author of many, many books. Cozy mysteries, supernatural thrillers, fantasy action adventures, lots of great fun to be had in a JB book. If you want to, I kind of think of my books as cinematic reading. So if you missed the movies and you missed that experience of having a good time blockbuster type of fun, or even a sweet Hallmark movie type of deal to take you away for a couple hours or so, pick up a JB book. They're pretty awesome. So check out JB Michaels on wherever audiobooks are sold, just not the weird UFO one. That's not me. So because there is another JB Michaels who writes about UFOs.
Probably cuter than you.
And weird. No. Anyway,
have you seen him?
Yes, there's pictures of the. He's I don't know. Whatever his name. He's not really JB Michaels. Anyway. So please check out the books. The books help the podcast. Everything helps the podcast.
Why are you not
also, Bandcamp subscribers, thank you very much. And those of you who don't know what that is, we literally have double.
What have you been doing?
What are you doing with your frickin' life? Anyway, sorry. Double the episodes. Okay. Is on magicinthemidwestpodcast.bandcamp.com. Okay, and it is a blast. Ashley keeps putting a flashlight in my eyeball, and she thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. What is wrong with her?
It's like an extendable. What is this for?
I don't know. I don't know. Dad gave it to us.
Expandable flashlight, just like this really long metal thing, like a
cane almost,
like a cane, and it has a handle. So I'm just holding it across the table.
Yeah. Anyway,
I gotta take a picture.
So mean.
Put it on the gram.
Oh gosh. So anyway, I don't look nice right now. I've got to shower and shave.
Same as normal.
I do not.
Yes,
anyway,
you do.
Anyway, so please check out Magic in the Midwest podcast.bandcamp.com for literally like $3 a month. You get to listen to us banter, 4 times as much every month. So it's pretty fun. So please check those out. Also, if you need anything, I'm serious, anything, business insurance, home and auto, anything like that, please contact me. JB Michaels, just shoot us an email at magicinthemidwestpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. So basically, I would make sure to check out. Let me know if you need anything insurance-wise. Sorry, Ashley's super distracting.
Oh my gosh!
I can't get through the.
Can you not carry this?
I can't carry it. I don't even need you.
I mean, then carry it.
We don't need Ash, do we?
Who cares?
No, we don't. Nobody cares. Anyway, so
do the job I hired you to do.
Oh, jeez. Okay. So
no, you just want to be on your phone. What are you doing? I'm posting
you're also
on social media.
Sorry, someone is not looking in the mirror.
Today is not the time to be texting during the podcast. I'm working.
So anyway, so basically, ladies and gents, We do a lot of things, right? We always kind of talk about that, writing books, writing insurance, doing books for people, the accounting, and lots of other things. Mm-hmm. We've got some other things in the mix as well that we're thinking of right now.
Things down the pipeline.
Things down the pipeline. But we love you guys. Thanks so much for listening to Magic in the Midwest podcast. Today we thought, you know what, we really maybe should cover the current events. We don't normally do that. We kind of stick to our format, but today we're going to try and go over just some of the current events, right? About Disney, a lot of the Disney announcements now that, 2020 hit and the pandemic hit, all that stuff. So there's been a lot of changes, and, there's been... The company has legit lost a lot of money. Mm-hmm. It has had to fire, lay off a bunch of employees, 40,000 or 30,000. So, we don't want to we don't want to make anybody sad. The point of this podcast is to kind of be cheery and give some positivity out into the world.
Well, I'm also going to give my opinion, though.
But we're going to talk about, the latest... We're going to talk about the latest... I'm sorry, I just was waiting for you not to interrupt me.
Sorry, what?
Anyway, so... we're going to talk about the latest bombshell news, right? And the latest one was that Disney's Magical Express service has been canceled. Okay, so basically they're not renewing their contract with Mears past 2021. So it is still around for the duration of 2021 because they're contractually obligated, right? But Magical Express is gone. So to give you guys some background on Magical Express was a service basically from the Orlando International Airport, which is, the code for it is MCO. I would know that because, I think that's the only, it's like the number one sticker we get on our bags all the time. But yeah, MCO. So basically what Disney did was you know what? We're going to encourage and add a perk for people staying on Disney property, meaning a Disney resort hotel. Because obviously when Eisner kind of took control, Eisner was like, let's make more, hotels. Let's get more people here. Let's bring in more people. So hence the birth of the Grand Floridian, right? Was because of Eisner. The Caribbean Beach Resort, Eisner. The Disney Vacation Club, Eisner, right? Old Key West, Saratoga Springs, pretty much almost all the resorts, okay, in the beginning of the moderate resorts, started with Eisner, and then the value resorts. So the idea was, let's build resorts. We have so much land. We got land like the size of Manhattan or even more. I think it's 2 times the size. I don't know. It's big, a lot of land. So they're like, let's get people here. And one of those perks, I think they started in the early 2000s, was to provide you free transportation from MCO to your Disney Resort hotel. And then they would provide free transportation back to the airport from your Disney Resort hotel. So it actually did a couple different things. It basically tried to get you just to stay on Disney property. Mm-hmm. Because you would not be renting a car, right? You would not be renting or taking a cab, or now obviously rideshare, Ubers and Lyfts and all that stuff. So because Disney from the airport is about 40 to 45 minutes, it's a decent drive, right? Whereas Universal Studios is a bit closer. It's about maybe 25, 30 minutes. So you've got, there is a bit of a hike to get from the airport over to Disney property. So, that being said, this was I think brilliant from a couple different angles. Like I said, it kind of kept you in the Disney bubble, right? And it was a great service. And the other parts of the service were, the buses were painted, Disney, Mickey Mouse, and Magical Express. So, like, when you got off the airport, you would see the Magical Express signs and say, go down to, level B and, go wait in line for Magical Express. And, it was just your Disney experience started as soon as you really walked off the plane.
Oh, totally. You don't have to worry about going to get your bags. You could just go down and you get in your line and it starts the magic from there.
Yes. And what we mean by you don't have to go get your bags. Yes, Disney would send you luggage tags before you went on your trip, and they were yellow luggage tags with the code for your resort on them. And you could put on your luggage that you were checking in, not your carry-ons, the luggage you were checking in, put that special yellow tag on. Disney would pick your bag up and put it in the Magical Express, and they would then deliver it to your room. Okay, for you. So you would be in the park or just at the pool, and your bags would be in your room waiting for you, like when you got there. I mean, it's an incredible service that was complimentary. That they just said, hey, because you're staying on Disney property, right? You got tickets, you're going to stay here for a while, we're going to take care of that for you, Now, obviously, we know that nothing is free, right? There was a way that they financed it. The ticket prices are high,
that year
right?
Went up that year, a certain amount,
right?
Or
right.
Just resort prices in general,
right?
It was budgeted for and obviously
right,
covered.
it was arranged, and you didn't feel right as though you were taking money out of your pocket to get on the Magical Express. It was just part of your Disney experience, part of your trip, which is now at the end of in 2022, starting 2022, that will be gone. So Ash, why is it gone? First off, give us your thoughts on Magical Express anyway, and then we'll go from there.
I mean, I love the Magical Express. I feel like it's one of those things that, while yes, it was budgeted for, it also provided a tremendous amount of value. And I think it's easy just to think about, us, but I mean, think about if you're a family of 6, you have 4 kids, not having to wait to rent a car or get an Uber with, however many seats or whatever it is. You didn't have to worry about any of that. Your ride is arranged for you. And that's a huge, to me, that's such a huge value. It was one of the most upsetting things announcement-wise for me. I feel like them taking that away, well, I understand in one capacity, I feel like it's a tremendous value lost, because I feel like it fits the culture of Disney so well. You know what I mean? Like, you're here, you're paying a lot to be here, but we're going to take care of you. You know what I mean? It's all taken care of from here. And it's, what people talk about when they say the Disney bubble, kind of just immersing yourself from the minute, it used to start the minute you got off the plane. And now you have to either get rideshare service, a cab, or, if you get a car, you're going to be not only paying for the car, but also paying to park it at the resort, most likely. So it's just added expenses. And I'm really sad to see it go. It was part of the fun, walking down, getting to that terminal, knowing, like, here's the first time I get to use my Magic Band, you know what I mean? And then you scan in, they tell you which line to go in, and then from there they were comfortable, and...
it's weird, but the writing was on the wall. Okay, and now, there's a certain person that people are laying the blame for on this, that many in the Disney podcast community, many in the Disney fan community, there's a new boss in town. And since this new boss has come in town, Bob Chapek, he's the CEO of Disney now, there's been these niggling little, like, things that have sort of been there's been a lot of things starting to just be taken away slowly but surely over time. Whether it be, and this is at the feet of Iger as well. the no expiration option on your ticket,
Yeah.
gone, right?
That was a huge...
You used to be able to walk into a Disney store, anywhere, buy a 20-day park hopper ticket, and just put it in your pocket, and it was good for forever. Mm-hmm. Forever. I literally did that. I would add days onto my park hopper passes, and because I knew they wouldn't expire, and it was cheaper the more days you added on.
Well, yeah, we would end up paying like $40, $50 a day,
right,
versus $100 and something, or even less than that.
Right.
I think at one point it was like 30 something.
Right, and so the ticket expiration option is gone. The no expiration option is gone, which is very sad. And park hoppers used to be like way back. Now this hasn't been for a long time, but park hoppers were also complimentary. Like you could just park hop. But that was really far back. Now they added, then they added, no, you can buy a park hopper ticket. So that I guess, mm-hmm. right? So, but, that's the only thing, right? That's the only thing. It's that, I really feel as though just over time. So like now, when you walk into a Disney park and you've bought your tickets, okay, it expires 14 days later. Mm-hmm. Like if it's gone. Like if you don't use those days within that 14-day window, it's gone. Before, I could go in 2002, come back in 2005 with my no expiration ticket. It wasn't even like a piecemeal option at that point. It just was, if you bought a ticket, it didn't expire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No extra charge.
Extra charge.
They never
right.
expire. Yeah.
So, it's slowly but surely been taken away. Like these things have just sort of been. Now, I don't know, right? I don't look at the numbers, and I don't look at... Now, the popularity of the parks has only increased, right?
Well, so I'm going to interject, though, because I'm going to say there's a lot of things that have happened since just adding on, like, park hopping as an upcharge. I mean, now it's like seasonally, the tickets are different. Very different prices. And the really popular times to go, the tickets are more expensive. So they charge different prices throughout the year. And then, you upcharge for park hopping again. And then there's also the water park option that adds on to that. And then, obviously depending on the amount of days. So, for example, as you guys know, in 2019, we went with my parents, and they were deciding between getting like a 4 or 5 day ticket or a 7-day ticket. Because they thought, if we only buy 5 days, it'll probably save us money.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Because they charge you less for every day that you add on. So, like, if you were to buy a 3-day ticket, it would end up being... $90 a ticket. But if you buy 5-day ticket, they'll only charge you like $70 per ticket. So like in the end, my parents are like, you pretty much end up spending the same amount of money, mm-hmm. no matter however many days. It's cheaper per day to go in more days,
right? But
you're gonna pay the same amount as if you only went in for 3 days and paid that price,
right?
So like they basically have just determined, this is how much money we're gonna get from people. And we're just going to, and the amount that the tickets have gone up just in general over the last few years. And obviously there are reasons for that. The amount of things Disney has acquired has been insane. But if you're looking at percentages, the reality is I think Disney can do pretty much anything they want. Because like you said, attendance is up. Obviously not right now, but that's different.
Yeah, it's been steadily increasing.
People will go back. People always will go back.
Right. So over time, these things that we enjoyed and I enjoyed as a lifelong Disney Parks fan, I've seen get taken away, right? To the point where I'm not kidding. Now the resort mugs have special RFID chips in them, and they activate them for only a certain amount of days. Mm-hmm. Whereas like the resort mugs before, you bought a resort mug and then you went back and you could technically still use it. I never did that, but you can, you could buy the resort mug and just use it.
Yeah, but the fact that they built in the technology to prevent
do that
is
I mean, there are...
It's extreme.
there are a lot of nickel and diming type of operations that have happened. Also, we've noticed, we watch some of these shopping videos, and people going shopping, looking at things. Shout out to Rhino from the Diz Unplugged.
Yes, we love your merch videos.
Right, we love the merch vids. He points it out immediately in the moment, but the amount that merchandise has gone up in the parks, like the average price of a T-shirt is now $30.
Oh, I think it's higher. I think
Like,
it's like
is it
40.
40 bucks?
Half the time
Yeah.
he looks at a T-shirt, it's like $40 or $50. And listen, Disney's always been expensive. Their merchandise has always
Seems
been more
like it's
expensive
more
than if you're going to
expensive now.
walk into a Target or something. But I feel like the prices we're seeing now are like obnoxiously high. But they just, as a numbers person, ultimately that they might be selling less with those prices, but the profit's higher. There's obviously...
Oh, yeah. It's
if people were really not buying stuff as much, then they would lower the prices again.
Yeah.
But, and people that live there, people that go there frequently probably don't always buy a ton of merch. Maybe they do. But I think it's, the people that are going just once or twice in a lifetime are going to spend the money.
Right, they're going to buy
there.
some merch, right?
Yeah.
So it's sad to me, but okay. So now we've got to talk about, right? So like all of these things over time, and then even to go back to the Magical Express, even even with the Magical Express, right? There was a survey a couple of years ago that they put out saying, like, would you be willing to pay a resort fee? And then would you be willing to pay for Magical Express? So, like, these are things that were on a survey that Disney Parks customers were getting. Obviously, the surveys did not go well, right? When you're asking people, about that.
For something you've already given them and now you want to charge for it.
Right.
Yeah.
So what they did do from that survey is they started charging people for parking at the resorts. So that wasn't always the case.
Yeah, but think about it. If you're someone that takes Magical Express, you're like, oh, well, I'd rather you do that.
Right.
Because I'm not going to have to pay to park at the resort.
Right.
I'd rather keep Magical Express and not have to
rely
worry
on Disney
about
transportation.
that. And ultimately, that's how we all vote, right? We vote for the things that affect us.
Right.
And we don't always think about, not that we don't actively try, but we're not always thinking about someone that is going to be... not taking the Magical Express or having to park at the resort.
So you used to not have to pay for parking, at a Disney resort if you were staying there. Now you do. So that's something they added. Also, there was this incredible video that came out in about 2013.
I was just going to talk about that.
That Disney quietly took off their Disney Parks YouTube channel.
Came out in 2015, actually.
It's 2015.
Because it was after we lived here.
Oh, that's right. Harrison was alive.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
That's what I mean. It's even more recent.
Right. So this video was like a Broadway type, Disney type of really fantastic, excellent video.
You can still find it on YouTube. I'll see if I can post the link.
Right.
Because other people have reposted. It's so good.
Yeah, it's a really well done video that basically is a song. That is, basically a musical montage, Broadway musical type number with dancers and singers and.
It's so good. We watched it over and over.
Right, we watched it over and over.
I memorized it.
Yeah, yes, and it laid out the entire Disney, resort package.
It was
experience.
called "Why Stay at a Disney Resort Hotel."
Yes.
That was the name of the video.
And
the whole point was all the perks of staying.
The very first line was, "We will pick you up with," or one of the very first lines.
It's like
it's not the very first line, but one of the first lines is, "We will pick you up with our airport bus." Okay, take the drive off your mind, leave your worries behind.
Transportation, it's
on us. That is no longer the case. And quietly, we realized that, a couple of years, it was like 2017. It just disappeared. So the writing has been on the wall for a while. Mm-hmm. And so people and some other podcasters are sort of thinking to themselves, man, I guarantee you that the new leadership wanted to get rid of these things anyway a long time ago.
Oh yeah, and I think that's I think, numbers is one thing. It's no secret Disney has lost a ton of money over the last quarter.
They have.
And there's no denying that. But this also feels like, you know what? Here's a great time to get rid of this, and we can use this as the reason why.
Yeah.
We're using the pandemic, lower attendance, obviously, for this reason to get rid of all the things, which we haven't even touched on some of the other things. I'll see if I can link it, but the video is really great. It just talks about how there's all these different themes, and then obviously Extra Magic Hours, which was another announcement made very recently about how not just for this time when attendance is limited, but for the foreseeable future, Extra Magic Hours has shifted from being an extra hour in the morning and then 3 hours at night. Well, yeah, but most of the time
2 to 3 hours.
2 to 3 hours at night to only a half hour in the morning at each park. I thought it was also half hour at night. That's not true. So it's just 30 minutes. All 4 parks every day. If you're staying at Disney Resort, you can go in 30 minutes early. I don't know how that's still called Extra Magic Hours, but it's Extra Magic.
Well, if you put it all together at all 4 parks,
it's an hour.
It's hours.
It's an hours. Yes, you're right. 2 hours.
So things have definitely shifted. Now, we do realize from a business standpoint, like I said, they've lost a ton of money. Disney's number one moneymaker was Walt Disney World. Number one, the parks and resorts area, okay, the unit of business that makes the most money for Disney and drives everything is the parks. Parks around the world. Disneyland is shut down and still shut down. It's just not open, So I get it. They've lost a lot of money. This is one of their biggest things. And Disney's second biggest thing was movies. Okay? Yeah. Luckily, with Disney Plus has basically saved the Disney company, I think. I think Disney Plus has legit, helped Disney stay afloat, right? And I feel really bad. There's many cast members that have lost their jobs, and people that have lost their jobs in the Disney company, and that's unfortunate, and, so we have to keep that in perspective. So when Disney does take away something like the Magical Express, maybe that contract that they didn't re-up, right, helps pay for people to come back or helps pay for cast members. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but here's my problem.
So,
individually, the things taken away, I would say yes, totally. But if you're someone that stays on property, the whole point of staying on property is obviously one location. Most of the time, you're going to be closer than if you stay off-site. Not always, but most of the time. But other than that, you're paying a premium of what is probably, at least with the value resorts, like $200 higher than you would at just a regular hotel.
Right.
So to me, there needs to be... Why... to me, this just promotes, why would someone not just, do a... What is that called? When you rent a house that everybody does? Airbnb? Or whatever, like that?
Airbnb. There's different companies that do it.
Airbnb.
So just rental homes.
I don't know what that was. But something like that, where you're paying $98 a night for a 4-bedroom whatever that's 10 minutes away from Disney. What's going to stop someone from doing that?
Yeah.
Because what are you really missing out on? Oh, that free ride from the airport? JK, that's not happening. Oh, those extra hours in the park? JK, not happening.
No.
So why? You're giving up theming and the magic of a Disney resort, which in itself is really wonderful. But if you're looking at the bottom line for your family in terms of a vacation you can afford, why would you not go that route?
I'm going to tell you right. Okay, so let's now look at the long-term consequences, possible long-term consequences of getting rid of the Magical Express, okay, and some of these other perks. Okay, so I'm gonna just go to bat here for Disney. Disney resorts, I think, are the best way to experience Disney.
I agree.
Okay, obviously you guys know, full disclosure. We have a Disney, a primarily Disney podcast. We're going to be doing other theme parks too soon, very soon actually. So like, here's the thing: staying at a Disney resort, staying at whether it be the Contemporary, Polynesian, the Floridian, those the big heavy hitters, Wilderness Lodge, those are amazing resorts. Okay, really great resorts. And then the Caribbean Beach, Port Orleans, like there's a lot of really great all-star movies.
There's no denying that if you're out of the pool at the Wilderness Lodge, experiencing everything that view has
and being
to
so
offer,
close to Magic Kingdom,
that is close to what I call an Airbnb. But
yeah,
no, but I mean, right? I'm just gonna counter real fast. I know you're in the middle of a point, but I think some people will. I don't care. You were going on and on.
I wasn't.
Some people are going to choose, even though they're giving up that magic. For one, maybe they don't know what that's like, and two, if they're choosing between staying 9 nights or 4 nights,
right?
Right. Being at a Disney Resort hotel and saying like, oh, we can afford to stay much
right.
longer if we don't.
Well,
that's a factor.
There will be deep discounts coming. Trust me. To get people to come back. That's going to be happening.
But I mean, don't you think that's counterintuitive? Why do deep discounts versus just keep it the same and still offer those things you're taking away that also cost money? What's the difference between that and deep discounts but taking it away? One is perspective, it provides value, and one looks worse.
They feel like their bottom line is better when they offer more people. They might entice more of the casual person to stay on Disney property if they say, if they give you a package that's competitive with the other resorts that are just like literally right outside of Disney. So that's another thing we could talk about. So this is all wallets, right? I mean, you've got resorts that are reasonably priced just outside of Disney property, just right there. Okay, that's not very close, right? Now, you don't get to enjoy the transportation that Disney provides. You've got to find your way to the park yourself, whether it's an Uber, a Lyft, or renting a car. So you have to think about the costs that offset there as well, your transportation costs.
I don't even think it would be close, though. If you're paying like $99 a night for a 4-bedroom somewhere.
Right. Well, yeah, no, you're right. So Disney is sort of possibly ceding a lot of their business to other parks in the area. Okay, like Universal, which we'll talk about it. There's long-term consequences of the Magical Express there that I really want to talk about. But, you've got, and then, the people that Contemporary and all that stuff, the people that love those deluxe resorts, Boardwalk, all of those, you do have other high-end resorts that are technically one more star or whatever than the Disney ones, right? Like the Four Seasons and all of these like very fancy third-party resorts that are near Disney. So like now those options are going to become, people are going to be thinking in their head like,
why would I not just do this?
Maybe we should stay there.
Well, that's what I mean. I feel like it's the wrong move to discount but take value away. Perspective is people don't mind spending the money if the value is there. There's a reason why people throw money at Disney, because they do such a great job. There's so much detail. You feel like your money is going somewhere. In the end, I think most brains would think, I'd rather pay more for more than less for less, because I can do that somewhere else too.
Right. So then let's talk about, right? We'll stick to your point right there. Then we'll talk about Universal at the last part of the last segment. So we'll talk about the value you get when you're at Disney. So now, even before Magical Express, because Magical Express wasn't always around. I mean, I was at Disney many times.
I want to look up
before Magical Express even existed, right? So we would have to rent a car to get there. Sometimes we'd drive down to Disney, so it wasn't always even there, right? But let's think about it. Let's think about this for a minute. Okay, even though, again, there's still some things that are happening inside Disney that are sort of hampering these experiences as well, in some ways. But let's look at the value of going into a Disney resort. So it started in 2005, according to Google. I don't know if that's
really
right.
15 years.
So, but, let's think about the value you get when you go to Disney. Okay, you're in, let's say Magic Kingdom. Right now it's not the case, right? Let's go back and to everything's normal. You get multiple parades a day. You get a castle, show, right? You get, world premiere attractions. Mm-hmm. Okay. You get a beautiful projection fireworks show every single night, for the most part. Okay. The lights, the operations, hopefully the quality service from the cast members, complimentary fast pass, right? The fast pass is like, gosh, I even though now it's gone, I hope that when it comes back, it's not pay for it. I really hope it's not like Universal does. That would be terrible. But anyway, so you are getting. Imagine how much it costs just to run the theme parks. You know what I mean? Okay. So how much value? Well, you wanted to talk. You were the one who mentioned it before we even had the podcast. You were like, well, let's talk about the value you're getting actually in a park. And I think that value is still good.
It is, but you're missing the point.
No, I'm talking about in the parks. I'm not talking about the other stuff. I'm talking about.
You're not really making a point. You get a value in the park, yes, but
you're
taking value away.
Don't you think that is it fair to say that you're getting a lot for your money?
Yeah, no one's ever said no to that.
Okay.
But when you're slowly, taking things away, even though that circle of what is still a lot, you're still taking things away. Like, you're doing things in reverse. People's perspective of you is shifting.
Yes.
There's no reason why Magical Express should have been added. If, to me, that's a decision Walt would make. Yes, I agree with that. That's something we should do. Do I think if you argue that it's for the pandemic's sake that we're taking it away, fine. But I really don't feel like that's the
I don't think
reason.
That's
I think
either.
it's an excuse.
I think it would have happened anyway.
I think if Walt were to say, if someone were to approach him and say, oh, we can do this, he'd be like, let's find another way.
They took down the video, right? They took down the video. The writing was on the wall. That
survey they were came looking out for a reason. I mean, is it something that's easy to cut that's going to save money? Absolutely. But it's crap because their thing said, their announcement claimed that people weren't taking anymore, and I know that that's a load of crap. Maybe not right now because it's not a lot of people are going, but I know back when things were normal, before everything happened, Magical Express was always packed. That's a lie.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a lie.
That's
definitely packed.
And their announcement was just sort of weirdly written. It was strange.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't disagree. I still think there's a tremendous value for when you go to a Disney park, but think about all the things that have happened in the past 5 years. What's going to happen in the next 5 years?
Right. So
it's about where we're headed. You know what I mean? The way the decisions are being made, the type of things they're taking away. Think about it. Think about what the perks are. Beside the aesthetic and how beautiful and wonderfully themed and the views of Disney parks, the major perk dollar-wise was extra time in the parks and free rides to and from the airport with your bags taken care of. You get extra time, and you get Fast Pass Plus. Now, we don't know about Fast Passes right now, but 2 of the 3 have just been virtually taken away. Now, perspective, though, if there were no extra magic hours ever, and then they announce, oh, we're going to let people that stay at resorts go in 30 minutes early, everyone would be really happy about it. But they're not. Because we've already had more value. You can take away things, but you shouldn't take away value with every decision you make.
Okay, so, yes. So, now, that leads me to think about, I think Disney's in trouble in the future. Okay? And here's why. I think Universal has an incredible opportunity here. Mm-hmm. Big time opportunity.
You can pretty much do nothing or offer something
and
look better either way.
Universal can counter. Let's just face it. Comcast is not hurting. Okay, Comcast owns Universal, right? And NBC. They're a huge. They're bigger than Disney. Okay, they have money. Okay, they can do this. Now the park plans have been delayed, but Universal is planning on opening a third full theme park called Universal's Fantastic Worlds, which I just think is a weird name, but that's for another podcast. So they're going to open up Fantastic Worlds, and they have an opportunity here. Okay, the opportunity is their own version of the Magical Express. Okay, and because once that third theme park opens, that theme park is not really that close. It's not very conveniently close to the other Universal theme parks. So you're going to have to think Universal is going to build their own little train that goes back and forth from, the City Walk area over to the new park. Okay, they've built more hotels, which I'm going to just say it. Universal's hotels are just not as good. They're not as good as Disney's. The new ones, at least. They're very hotelish. I mean, they're just sort of towers hotels. But Disney's kind of been doing the same thing with the Riviera and Grand Destino. But
Yeah.
There's been a lack of imagination. There has. But Universal doesn't care. Because Universal's like, okay, whatever. We're just going to build these, get more hotels up, and we're going to have the future. We're going to have the new park. So Disney, Universal has a great opportunity because with that third theme park opens, now people are going to be presented with the choice. We can now legitimately, because let's face it, Universal, you cannot. I mean,
some people do it in multiple days. And I don't really get it.
Some people do it, and that's fine. You guys want to roll like that? That's fine. I mean, I'm not criticizing you, but if
I just don't know what you're doing.
There's two theme parks. You can get them both done in a day. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. You just can't. Especially studios. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess, which we'll talk about later, but another podcast. But so you've got this whole big now resort with a water park in Volcano Bay, and with this third theme park opening, now Universal has become a legitimate destination, not just two theme parks and some Lowe's Pacific, the Lowe's hotels around it. It's becoming bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. So if Universal can step in and say, hey, we'll pay for you guys to come right to our resorts, no problem. I mean, that would be really smart of them. So, and I think that would definitely get people to go to Universal versus going to Disney. Some people already see Disney as too big and too gargantuan and too much of a hassle to think about, and would just rather go walk around City Walk and Islands of Adventure and Studios, which is totally fine. And I get that.
There's total perks to
I get that.
A sense of, just let's chill and go.
Right. So there is that. There are those elements.
Guys, we love Universal.
Yes, we love Universal too.
I love it.
So, and then people, the counter to all of the Magical Express being gone is the maglev train that apparently is going to be built at Orlando International, and will go from Orlando International and have a stop at Disney Springs.
And you will 100% pay to be on that train, and then you will be dropped off at Disney Springs.
Oh my gosh.
And then you will have to catch a bus to your
Which,
resort.
by the way, the Disney Springs bus...
#passed.
The Disney Springs bus situation is a disaster. I'm sorry.
It is a disaster.
You wait double the time. At least in our experience, we waited double the time.
And then they changed the bus stop like 8 times, and it wasn't listed correctly, and it was listed in 2 different places. Both of them were wrong, and it was just a mess.
So the Disney Springs bus system would have to improve if that's going to be a selling point for Disney and getting to Disney World. Because plus, let's face it, it's going to add another 2 hours to your travel time. Absolutely. It's going to add 2 hours.
Probably with your bags. I mean, think about if you're a family with young kids, do you want to wait? The reality is the train's not going to come right when your plane gets in. Like Magical Express is revolving. The train's only going to come however many times a day.
So
you could wait 2 hours for the train at the airport with all of your bags.
Right.
Pay for all of you to get on the train. get on the train, get to Disney Springs, get off the train, go find your resort bus, which you will then wait for, also in a line with people that have been at Disney Springs just trying to get back to their resort with all of your luggage and kids after already a long flight.
Yeah.
It'll take you forever. Why wouldn't you just pay for an Uber? At that point, I'd be like, nope.
Yeah, so we have a unique situation. Over the next few years, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Disney parks and with Universal, because I'm telling you, I think Universal has a opportunity here to start really hitting Disney, just like they did. Like here's the thing: Universal was never really an issue for Disney. Really, honestly, until they got Harry Potter. And then the Harry Potter thing started to like take away, people from Disney. Mm-hmm. Now that's since leveled out, right? Disney's still king in Orlando. But I'm telling you, there's a great opportunity here for Universal in the future to start adding value that has been taken away, that Disney took away. Especially since they want people to come to that brand new theme park that they're going to build, right? So it's going to be interesting. The theme park competition continues. But I'm really sad. I'm going to be honest. I'm very sad that Magical Express is gone. One thing I think we lost sight of here, Ash, is that Magical Express helped people that didn't have a whole lot of money get to their resort. Right, and get to their theme park and get to their, let's face it, it was something that was nice for people of all income levels, but especially people that, I don't have a lot of money, but I'm going to take my kids to Disney once, and wow, I don't have to worry about getting a car or paying a cab or getting some van. I could just get on the Magical Express. So that makes me sad, because I know that a lot of people, Disney is already very expensive, and that was something that I think was a perk for many different types of people, including me, you guys. I'm not some rich person, right? And my family was not. We were pretty modest background, both of us, and that was a really nice perk that we enjoyed.
Well, and you know, when I went as a kid, it wasn't obviously running yet, but when we just went in 2019 with my parents, my dad was just like, it's just so nice. Yeah. That you don't have to worry about, you know what I mean? You don't have to figure any of this out, and we just get in the line. You feel like you're being taken care of. You don't have to worry about,
At least all that stuff is still there, right? Disney transportation is still there. When you're at a Disney resort, you still, that's all still a thing. So, interesting. But, we thought we needed to address those things. And, check out that video on YouTube. What is it called, Ash?
If you type in why stay at a Disney Resort Hotel, it will pop up.
Okay.
And I'll see if I can post it too.
Yeah, really, it's a great thing. It's sad because it really doesn't apply anymore. But it's weird that it just was taken down a long time ago.
Well, and Harris and I just watched it, and I was listening to it, and I'm like, oh, they don't have that anymore.
They don't have that anymore. They don't have that anymore. Yeah.
And it's a recent video. This isn't a video from 1995.
Right. So, obviously, Ashley, you're an accountant. You see numbers all the time for companies. And when the numbers are bad, you've got to do something.
Yeah.
So, listen, I'm not...
It's a business.
It is a business still. Disney still is there for profit, right? I mean, it's a business. But it's also a business that employs artists and people of all, backgrounds. And it's a really great company in a lot of ways. And it encourages creativity and imagination, and I think that's huge, right? Especially me being an author, I was inspired by that place and inspired by the person that made the place. So, that's just,
I think most of the people listening to this, love Disney for the same reason,
right? Right. So, hopefully soon, hopefully the future looks bright, right? We're gonna have people coming back, people being rehired back into the parks and all that stuff, I hope, right?
Yeah.
So, All right, ladies and gentlemen, anything else to add, Ash?
No, just, check us out on social media, Magic in the Midwest Podcast. And, we always love when you guys write in. So if you have any thoughts or things you want to share about recent news or just anything in general, please write us an email, magicinthemidwestpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
And I think that's it.
All right. From the Midwest. See you later.